I want to look at verses 7 and 8 today in the story of the golden calf in Exodus 32. It says, the Lord told Moses, quick, go down the mountain. Your people whom you brought from the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. How quickly they have turned away from the way I commanded them to live. They have melted down gold and made a calf, and they bowed down and sacrificed to it. They are saying, these are your gods, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. So, Moses is still up on the mountain. God knows everything that is happening. Naturally, he's God. And he begins to tell Moses of all of these things. And now how he says this is so interesting. He says, your people whom you brought from the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. So it's almost like God is suggesting that he either has or will disown the people, that he will abandon them to their wicked ways. So it's a very interesting thought process. And he continues this in verse 8. He says, how quickly they have turned away from the way I commanded them to live. That's an understatement. I mean, they've crossed the Red Sea. They marched to Mount Sinai. They've been there 40 days-ish, probably a few more than that, because Moses went up on the mountain after a little period of time. So let's say they've been there I'm sure biblically I could go back and figure out exactly the number of days. I'm sure that you could piece it all together in Exodus. I'm sure somebody way smarter than me has. Probably 50 days at the most that they've been there. And couldn't stand it that long. Had to build an idol, had to go down this road, worshiping, pagan revelry, as we talked about yesterday, which is a way of describing just gross sexual immorality that they are participating in, right? So they didn't wait long, jumped right into it. And they've melted down the gold, made the calf, and God says they have bowed down and sacrificed to it. And then he continues, these are your gods, or they are saying, these are your gods, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. These are your gods. See how we're adding to there? You know, we talked about Aaron making the altar and the things he said. It almost seemed to be stacking the golden calf on top of God. And I see a lot of the people as just replacing God with the golden calf. But that's an interesting thought process. So God's described here to Moses every single thing that's happened. Because even though Moses might be up on the mountain and not know, doesn't matter what mountain God's on, God knows. God is omnipotent and omniscient. He knows it all. And he even quotes directly their words. God knew exactly what was happening. Because see, sometimes, just like the Israelites, we can ignore God, but God never ignores us. See you tomorrow.